Welcome to all our amazing candidates. I'm excited to be here and appreciate everyone making the time on a weekday to be here. So myself and Nanda, for those that don't know me, and my fellow board member Ashim Kamani will be your MCs tonight. Our goal this evening is not only to serve you dinner on time, but we want to give you the opportunity to meet these great candidates. They're put in a lot of effort in their individual campaigns, and I think this is a great opportunity for you guys to meet with them at a personal level, get to know them better, and take part in the upcoming elections. In addition to that, I just want to also reiterate the importance of voting. We have Baba set up in the back of the room. If you guys have an opportunity, you can go and check that out. They have a sample ballot that they're sharing. Mr. Rahman have a mail-in ballot for those that have any medical issues, or if you're over 60 and you can mail in the ballot for that reason. And 3147, so please come and support him on that as well. Now back to the candidates. Before we get started, February 20th is the Democratic and Republican primaries will start, so please come and support the candidates that are involved in the primaries, and also, support them in their campaigns. And in addition to that, I would also like to thank all the elected officials that are here. Sonia Rash, I think she's on her way, and then we've also got Jeff Pizarro on his way, so they're not here exactly yet, but they should be joining us. And we'll get started with the Lovebirds today. So
we would like to welcome Selena Ali to recite the Lovebirds.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمدك ربك واستغفر إنه كان توابا صدق الله العظيم. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. O Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when there comes Allah's help and the victory, and you see people entering Allah's religion in multitudes, then pronounce the purity and praise of your Lord, and seek forgiveness from Him. Surely, He's ever relenting.
Thank you so much, Selena. I would request everyone to rise for the national anthem of the United States of America.
What the world be reading, what the twilight stars stealing, who trucks science and bright stars, through the very night, for the grand cathedral, where the rabbits be singing, and the rockets and the harvest singing bells and songs sang along for a land of the free and the home of the
Please stay standing. We will go ahead and recite the Pakistani anthem.
Thank you so much, Mary Jane. Please have a seat. So, as we were, I'd like to thank our media, our partner media partners for tonight's event, Pakistan News, Shaneed Sayed Bhai, Urdu World, and some. Thank you. NTV America, Navroz Farsla. We've got Kamran Jalani, Kamran on his way. American Urdu TV. And then Mr. Zishan here with a camera. Bill Zillion Photography below. I'm going to pass it to Sheen, and she's going to announce and thank the sponsors.
A special thank you to all our sponsors, Famous Foods by Wahid Lana for all the tea snacks that we've had this evening. Sahid Medical Transporters for all the pamphlets you see on the tables with all the candidates' information. Texas American Merchant Services, MC Energy, True Pro USA for all the invitations that you all received for this event. Thank you so much to all of our sponsors. I would like to also thank our very young youth volunteers. We have youth volunteers. Please stand up. For a high school student, freshman Austin High. We have Anaya Najani, Alona Sanhoj, Elizabeth Doe, Sayona Burrow. Thank you, ladies, for your help. Thank you so much. You guys are doing a great job.
I would also like to thank our board that's worked very hard to put this event together. And I would like to request that our board members, if you can kind of stand out, smile, and give a little wave so everybody knows who you are. I'll start off by our president, Mr. Javed Ashramsaf, Mr. Zahid Butt, our vice president, Mr. Siraj Darcy, the money man. Where is he? He's very important. Where did he go? There we go. Oh, okay, with him. Okay. Mr. Akram Rai, he's handled all the attendance and coordination for this event. Mr. Mudassir Siddiqui, who has not been able to join us today. Mr. Wahid Lala, he's famous and he owns Famous Foods. Fahim Dohafun, who cannot join us today as well. And then after that, I would like to invite our president of Pakistan Federation of Business, Dr. Javed Ashraf, who doesn't really need an introduction. Dr. Ashraf is an academic and an economist and has led two of Pakistan's most distinguished academic institutions. Dr. Javed Ashraf is also a member of our community, a leader of our community. And I would like for you to come on stage and introduce our chairman of the board, Dr. Sabdidir, and also chair of the board. Please,
As directed by Mehnaz, I wish to introduce the chairman of our advisory board, Dr. Asif Kadir, to say a few words.
Thank you. This is going to be very, very fine evening tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming here. And I want to thank first the Pakistan Federation of Business, our president Javed Ashraf Sahab. He constantly surprises me, bringing a lot of juicy events that we did going to witness today. That's for sure. Also, our directors who are part of his Siraj Narsi side. But most of all, These are the candidates who are here. 11 people running for a democratic process. We all know democracy and democratic process makes America great. And the people who participate in this process for a very low money which is involved because the pay is not high, but they're hard to serve the community. And that's not easy. To do a public service and make a public policy, that's not easy. It's a very difficult job because these are the representatives of our community who shows their values from the community. And I understand that we're going to have each one of them and see their agenda, listen to them. My personal view is that any election is fair and square when all candidates are represented here. I understand there are 9 candidates that I saw in the flyer. Almost all of them, there's 2 of them I'm delighted. But more responsibility is the people who are here, who have especially come sparing time for this democratic process to listen to that. It is their duty to listen to them carefully, ask questions, ask their policies, and then after listening them carefully, make a decision. And remember one thing, in process of electioneering, we lose our cool. But in a community like this, that we are all going together, so close with each other, it is best to talk about policies, why you are better than other candidates, rather than going in broken policies. And most of them we already know, and I would not take more time. I want to thank all of you to be here tonight, and let's see who can convince all of us why we have to vote for each one of them. Thank you.
To introduce Farah Ahmed, practicing attorney for 20 years, owns her own firm, and is a former candidate for office. So she knows a lot about these forums. I would like her to come up and take this mic.
Now we be fair. We've got a couple of things I wanted to talk about. First, I wanted to thank the organization and the candidates for making it happen. And I also want to make sure that we give a big round of applause because it is because of these candidates that this event is happening. So thank you for that. So as a moderator, I work with a great team. I do have to thank Manaz and Afshin that really put this event together and made sure that it was a success and coordinated, made sure all these candidates showed up. One of the house rules we're going to go over a little bit is you have 6 races on the ballot that we're going to have 9 candidates talk about it. Some candidates have an opponent and some don't. But you're going to see them, if they have an opponent, they're going to be on stage together. And they're going to answer these questions. All the candidates have 2 minutes for their opening remarks, and 2 minutes for their closing remarks, and 2 minutes to answer the questions. We have a very important person here to keep the 2 minutes on the 2 minutes. Is Mr. Syed, if you want to stand up and show your sign. So you've got the 1 minute sign, and then the red means gentle sign, you know. We're going to be very nice about it. I don't think we have anyone with a hope that takes you on stage, but we're going to be very kind. Now what I have is, I have a bowl with 3 of the races that are going to go first. And, you know, we trust lawyers, don't we? So we have a very well-known, trusted lawyer, Farah Kamal, is going to pick who is going to go first, second, and third. This one you can. What's the first one she picked? Why don't you read that? Congress. Okay, we got Congress one first. Sheriff. Sheriff. Sheriff next, okay.
We get all right. We get in.
Constable.
Constable.
All right, in that order. Thank you all.
Really consistent. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Running for United States Congress, and this is a room that can make some history. I want you to look around at this stage. I'm honored I get to join this stage with some people who have made history and are making history. We have the first Pakistani and Muslim constable in the country. Round of applause, please. And if some of these gentlemen win, they would be the first Asian Americans to ever be a party chair or county commissioner in Fort Bend County. Round of applause, please. And if we win, we have a chance to make some history because look around this room. This is Fort Bend County, the most diverse county in America. If I win, I would be the first Asian American and Muslim American and South Asian Muslim ever elected to Congress from Texas, and we can make that happen here in Fort Bend County. I'm 31, I also did the youngest. So with 1 minute to go, let me give you an overview of our race. Many of you said it couldn't be done. This is the most diverse county in Texas. Look at your tables. There's a map of my district right there. There are more Pakistanis, Indians, Muslims, Hindus, Asians, Arabs in this district than any other district in Texas. हम दिखाना चाहते हैं कि हमारे पाकिस्तानी और इंडियन मुसलमान लोग किसी से कम नहीं है हमारे में भी हिम्मत है हम भी ये काम कर सकते हैं and let's show some himmat and win this race. So in 30 days until voting, we are up against almost $1 to $2 million of Israeli funding. It's important for us to understand if we want things to change in this country, we cannot let lobbyists buy our politicians. And I'm proud to be before you today, unbought, unpaid for, and here to represent you. Pervez Agwan for U.S. Congress. Thank you so much, everybody.
I want everyone to know none of these candidates know what questions are going to be asked, that they have absolutely no idea. So, Pervez, there are a couple of questions for you, and you alluded to a little bit. Now, you're welcome to answer sitting down. I know it's a lot getting up, standing up, but you can definitely walk around the stage. And the stage is yours for this part. The situation in Gaza has seen more than 100 days of violence, and there is dissatisfaction with the Biden administration. Why should voters consider supporting a Democrat or even the Democratic Party at this time?
Thank you for your input. So for everybody in the room, we need to be honest about our politics. Most of our politicians, they're bought and paid for by big lobbies before they get to office. That's unacceptable. Right now, we're looking before our very own eyes. We have 3 Muslims in Congress. We have 5 million Muslim Americans in this country. 25,000 dead in Gaza. This isn't a war, it's a genocide, and we should call it out like it is. Right? If we're not honest about what's happening, nothing will ever change. Joe Biden and the Democratic Party, they're responsible for this. And we have to accept something. The party will never change unless we start voting in primaries. Do you hear that? Can I count on all of you to vote in the primary for not just me, but these candidates here? Yeah. Because the problem right now is, look, the Republicans, let me get started. I know this is nonpartisan, but they stab us in the front. The Democrats right now, I feel like they're stabbing me in the back. Right? And if this country is going to change, we need to stand up to Anthony Blinken. Now they go to Pakistan and Canada. Right? We have a serious problem in this country with the military, the Israeli lobby, big oil companies, Wall Street banks. They're dictating our policy. You have to start electing people that don't respond to the Israel lobby. I'm proud to be before you, the only candidate running for Congress in the state of Texas, calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Right now. And if we want to see things change, all of us, it's up to all of us. It's not up to me. I'm grateful to God, alhamdulillah, I get to do this work. But I'm relying on you to help us get to Congress against dirty money coming in. Because my opponent doesn't say the word Palestinian, doesn't say the word Gaza, and is proudly backed by 7 figures of Israeli money. So let's show them in Fort Bend County that's not welcome. Yes.
So the next question, Pervez, regarding fossil fuels, considering that many of the individuals in our community derive their livelihood from fossil fuels, the oil and gas industry, and you advocate for green energy, what is your plan for the short-term and long-term future of the fossil fuel industry today?
Show of hands. How many people have worked in the oil industry? Show of hands. It's okay. My father worked in the oil industry. I used to work in the oil industry. Any hands up here? The Stone Age didn't end for a lack of stones. The oil age will not end for a lack of oil. If we want to progress and build a humanity for 2050 for my son, madam, you're going to pay it. We just celebrated his first birthday. I think he deserves, your children deserve a better world than the one we have. Right? I'm not anti-oil, but I'm pro the future. Houston cannot be losing to Austin in green jobs. Houston cannot be losing to Austin in innovation. Everybody wants to move to Austin. Have you guys noticed? Austin's taking all the jobs, the home prices are appreciating. We need to look out and build more green jobs here. I'm the only candidate in the race. We're rolling out a big initiative, 100,000 new clean energy jobs right here in Houston when I get to Congress, inshallah. Because quite frankly, I want everybody to know one thing. We cannot live like it's 2010 in Houston, right? This is not an oil and gas economy anymore, right? It's diversified, and diversification means tech jobs, green jobs, AI jobs, and I don't know if anybody knows this about me. I was very grateful to study at MIT. I used to teach economics at MIT. If Houston wants to survive into 2050, we gotta leave oil in the rearview mirror, and that's a fact. Also, climate change is very real. A third of Pakistan is underwater. We got to talk about how we as Pakistanis and Indian Muslims and non-Muslims and people of other faiths are going to lead the charge on environmental sustainability. Who's with me?
And a last question, back to foreign policy, which seems to be on everyone's mind. It's a little bit long one, but I'll make sure I get a chance for everyone to listen. A significant number of people in the audience have family ties to Pakistan. And considering the ongoing government crisis with the former Prime Minister Imran Khan facing allegedly unjust charges and preventing him or his party from participating in the elections, what actions would you recommend the U.S. administration take at both the short term and the long term?
Immediately censure Secretary of State Anthony Blinken for genocide, and immediately censure him for interfering in the foreign affairs of other countries. Very important. I'm not here just to represent Fort Bend County and Sugar Land. My opponent lives in River Oaks. Do you see River Oaks anywhere here? Right? It's important we start electing our own people to Congress. Who supports democracy? Raise your hand. If you support democracy here, I want you to support democracy back in our home. Right? And that means anybody should stand for election. We need a free and fair election in Pakistan now. And see, whether or not you agree with me is not the issue. Let every person stand for election and let the voters choose. It's unacceptable that the State Department here, that the State Department everywhere meddles. The United States is the problem. We need to think about a foreign policy that is less war. It's unacceptable to me that we have $1 trillion defense budget, greater than the next 10 countries combined. That should go to schools. That should go to hospitals. That should not go to meddling in the affairs of Pakistan. And yes, I firmly believe Imran Khan needs the ability to stand for an election immediately. Now, whether or not, let me be very clear. Whether or not you agree or disagree with the PTI, that's not the point. The point is we cannot be hypocrites. We have to allow every person to stand for an election. And when I get to Congress, thank you. When I get to Congress, I will be the first to immediately put sanctions on the Israeli government, the first to start talking about cutting the defense budget, and third, most importantly, we need rules and regulations on our State Department, because Anthony Blinken is responsible for genocide, and he's responsible for much, much more in Pakistan. You know what I'm talking about if you read the Donald Blue papers.
Thank you, Jorge. What we're going to do is we're going to let all the candidates do the closing statements at one time. So we will come back to you for your closing statement. If you can hand the mic over to now the sheriff race, Eric David and Sonny Colonga. So you have your opening statement, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bend County Sheriff Eric Fagan. Let me first thank the Pakistan Federation of Business for hosting this event. I'm running for re-election to continue making Fort Bend County one of the safest counties in our state. When I first took office, I brought together all the heads of law enforcement in Fort Bend, including the school district chiefs, to the sheriff's office to discuss how to better protect our children in the schools. This has never been done before. I was recognized as a rising level star in Texas for this initiative. Also during my tenure, I work collaboratively with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies, and we have confiscated 5 pill mills, over 1 million pills, multiple grams of meth and fentanyl. The amount of fentanyl we confiscated would have killed everyone in Missouri City, Sugarland, Richmond, and Rosenberg combined. Law enforcement is facing man shortages across the nation, not just in Fort Bend, but across the nation. So we have to think of better ways to protect our individuals here in this county. And by doing that, it's with technology, and by getting grants. In my tenure as sheriff, I've received over $5.1 million in grants to Fort Bend, the highest ever. So I'm here to humbly ask for your support again to keep me in the office, to keep doing the work for the people of Fort Bend County. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here tonight. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank the Pakistani Federation of Business as well. My name is Sonny Kalunga, and I'm a candidate for Fort Bend County Sheriff. I have 41 years of police officer service. 33 of those years I've been part of a command staff or executive command level position. I am also a graduate of the National FBI Academy in Quantico, Virginia, and I have one of my colleagues here, Jimmy Evans. He's just graduated from there. Only 1% of police officers get to go to this academy. You bring that training back to your hometown and you apply it. What? Public safety is important. I am married. I have a wife. She's been in law enforcement for 34 years. I have a son. He's 31 years old. He's a police chief at Needville Independent School District. We are a family of law enforcement. When it comes to serve and protect, it's a family business. I've dedicated my whole life to law enforcement. I am a godly man, I am a family man, I am a lawman, and a businessman. I have lived in Fort Bend County for 36 years. All my life, I've spent fighting crime. I can do that here. I worked for the sheriff's office for 10 years. I was an internal affairs captain for them. I was part of the command staff. Then I went over to Harris County, and I was there for 10 plus years as the chief. And I took care of all the courthouse complex. I was also the internal affairs there. So I'm bringing all that experience. I spent 2 years in Iraq and helping the military, our military, in the fight against Iraqi freedom. My job was to run polygraphs. I got the red card. Sorry, guys.
Mr. Kalunga and Sheriff Fagan, you both are sitting there in the front. We're going to ask some questions, and you both can pass the mic over to each other. You're welcome to sit and answer the question or stand, whatever you're comfortable with. We'll start with Mr. Fagan with the first question, and of course, Mr. Kalunga, if you can answer that question also after him. There is so much talk about crime rate in Harris County, but what about Fort Bend County crime rate? How are we doing with the various crime stats, and what is the status of crime in Fort Bend County?
I'm glad you asked that question. Just this morning, we went to the state of Fort Bend County on how our county is doing. Brian Middleton paid for a study by a non-biased group, 2 doctors, to do a study on the crime rate here in Fort Bend County. You're going to hear in election times from the other side that crime is on the rise and things like that. But the actual empirical fact is crime is down in Fort Bend County. Fort Bend County is one of the safest counties in the nation. Under my tenure in Fort Bend County, I just told you about what we were doing with the drugs. But I didn't have time, because I didn't want that red card to pop up on me, to tell you what we're doing about human trafficking here in Fort Bend County. Under my tenure, we've arrested over 100 human traffickers right here in Fort Bend County. Rescued over 30 victims of human trafficking right here in Fort Bend County. Confiscated more guns, arrested more gang members ever before right here in Fort Bend County. We're growing, and by that growth, that means more crime is coming. So we have to collaborate with other law enforcement. So that's what we're doing under my leadership at Fort Bend County. Thank you.
There is a lot of crime in Harris County. There is crime in Fort Bend County. So you need somebody with the experience. I spent 10 plus years in Harris County fighting this crime. Harris County, Houston Police Department, working together. Riots, we do human trafficking, narcotics, you name it, we've been there. I've done it in Fort Bend County as well. There's certain things you have to do in order, you have to plan. You have to have the vision to be able to stop crime. What do? Technology is important. You start putting cameras. Cameras will help you. And also, you build bridges with the community. You guys will be our partners. You guys need to be our partners. Without you guys, we cannot be successful in police. Also, what we're looking at is crime prevention. What does that say? We send police officers where we know there's crime. We have the data in our office. We know where the crime's at. We send police officers there to stop the crime. So are you all with me here? I've spent my whole life doing this. I've gotten good at it. I'm not good at anything else, but I'm good at stopping crime. Okay? I even went overseas and I did the job there. I went there for 2 years. That was my contract. They offered me 10 years. They wanted me to stay there. My wife said no. I came back home because I don't know here, but over there she's the boss. But I'm telling you, I have the experience, okay? I have the knowledge and education to put things, to put a plan together and stop crime. Thank you.
Then Mr. Colombo, you'd like to answer the next question first, which is, what are your top priorities for law enforcement in Fort Bend County? And let's say you get into office, what are the first 2 things you want to work on right away?
Every agency is having issues with hiring people. One of my top priorities when I walk into office is going to be recruiting individuals and retaining them. How do you do that? You build a good environment and they want to stay with you. Training police officers to have the education, training police officers to have the knowledge to be able to go on the streets and fight crime. Training police officers to also be able to do crime prevention. It's important. Training, retain, and retention is very important. Also, it's also important to build bridges with the community. Guys, when I'm telling you, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm used to calling them police officers, but ladies and gentlemen, when I'm telling you about building bridges with you, the community, okay, it's very important. You guys are our ears and our eyes in your neighborhoods. You know what's wrong. I will build an advisory committee.
They want to say what they're gonna do when they're in office. But this is what I have done in office. I started a crime reduction unit to address crime in Fort Bend County. This crime reduction unit has 6 officers and 1 sergeant. And their main goal is this: our crime statistics goes up in a certain area in our county. We send all 6 of those officers in that one area. It's not a Band-Aid. We stay there until we get that crime problem down in that area. We've done that across Fort Bend County already. As far as morale and keeping people in Fort Bend, you will hear some opponents speak about morale. Well, if they would speak to all of the officers at Fort Bend County, deputies, they would see the vast majority of the officers' morale is high, the highest it's ever been. Salary increase, 4% to 20%. My first 3 months in office, I visited the detention center more than any other sheriff did in the 4-year terms. Brought system back to the sheriff's office. invited Deputies Association to have quarterly meetings with me. Sometimes they don't feel comfortable thinking that nothing is ever done because our investigation in IAD is confidential. You won't know the punishment of that officer. But in mediation, you get to sit across from that officer with a neutral person to talk about those issues. This is something that I've brought already to the county. Also, the youth. I started JJAX, where we bring young people to come sit with officers, sit down and talk.
It's important for us throughout the county to visit, to build your confidence, that you can trust us as police officers, that we're going to be a team. And it doesn't happen overnight, am I correct? You guys don't know me. I'm here, trying to get elected, right? But I'm telling you, we have town hall meetings, and we talk, and we discuss. And I need you to get to know not Sonny the candidate, Sonny the man, Sonny the person that cares about Fort Bend County. That's what I need you to do. Care about me. I'll be around here. I'll be walking around. I'll be here until they tell me to leave. Okay? You can ask me any questions you want to ask me, and I'll answer you, and every question will be honest. That's all I know. Okay? Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
So, Mr. Kalunda, there was a question.
Okay, we're going to do something really interesting here. Where's Niloufar Hafizi? Raise your hand. There you are. Niloufar Hafizi works with Engage, which is a voter empowerment group. So we have selected certain community leaders to ask a question, and she had their question ready for both the candidates. Niloufar, welcome.
Thank you so much, Cara. Thank you all for being here. I also want to point out that our fellow Esmina Mahmoud is also here. So we're really glad to see the community come together in this way. My question is for the candidates for sheriff. Recently in Fort Bend, a member of the Muslim community was arrested during a routine traffic incident, and when she was detained and taken to the sheriff's detention center, she was not allowed to keep her job for safety reasons. So my question to for the sheriff candidates is, how can we ensure that people's religious freedoms and their religious rights are respected during the detainment process in the criminal justice system? And how can the sheriff's office work collaboratively with community organizations like Engage or CARE to help protect those rights?
Policing. And a lot of people don't really understand it, and they want to know, is that something that is still effective and still used, or has law enforcement pivoted to a different kind of policing method for the residents of Fort Bend County?
Community policing is community policing. What does that say? It's working with the community. You can put all kinds of names on it, and you can put all kinds of titles. It's still community policing. Very important in law enforcement.
Sheriff's office. The sheriff's office and the jail system is different from any other jail system. It's not a jail system that's federal. A lot of people there have not been adjudicated. Some have been adjudicated. You do have criminals in there. The reason they took that from her is this reason. People bring in confiscated goods into our jail. We have criminals in there. And they would use that, they would threaten that young lady to make her hide things up under that. It was for her protection that was taken away. That's something that, while I'm the sheriff, it would continue. Because I don't want anyone in my jail to be bullied or threatened. That's something, by having that on her head, another person would have made her hide stuff under that jacket. And if something was found on her, we would be filing charges on her. It would be her word against that person. So somebody would tell you, if you have it on you, well, the law is going to say it's in your wingspan, we have to file the charges on both. So it was for her protection while it was taken away. And it should have been explained better to the community.
It's a terrible situation when somebody gets arrested. And it's scary, especially people who have never been arrested before. I understand that. I've seen it throughout my years. But if you're the leader, you say what? Respect. You teach that to your people. You give the direction, you give the guidance. Respect, and let them keep their dignity. Not everybody is a bad person that gets arrested. They make mistakes. We've all made mistakes. Some of us have not been arrested when we make mistakes. Some of us do. So we need to respect and let them keep their dignity. That's very important. But we also have a job to do. Don't get me wrong. We have a job to do. But we need to understand who the bad person is and who's not. And that's how you start teaching your people. Okay? Did I answer your question? No? More or less?
Well, I was curious if you are in agreement with the policy of having detainees remove their head coverings, even if it's for religious purposes or not.
Something, well,
Can you
some,
repeat the question that she asked, if you don't mind?
yeah, she said about removing the headgear. Yeah. So it's important for us to be educated. Okay. Oh, it's important for us to be educated. It's important for us to have, that's the reason we have a diverse community. You have a diverse, police or a sheriff agency. And you have somebody there that understands, okay? Somebody that understands what needs to be done and how it can be done properly. I spent 2 years in Iraq, okay? And we had to respect their culture. But there was ways of doing it. There's ways of checking, right? There is.
My question for both candidates was just,
Okay.
my question for both, yeah.
I think I understand, but I'm not answering correctly. Okay? I'm not answering.
Policy, but we do have policies. We have policies where we do have to remove our headgear, we have to remove our jackets, because there might be contraband. That's a policy across the United States. So yes.
Sheriff, if you want to answer that follow-up question?
Look, at the sheriff's office, the main thing is we have to have all officers take diversity training. And they do that under my administration. I brought more education to Fort Bend County Sheriff's Office to have more trainings. But in the jail, we have something that's called PREA. That's a national institution that covers all jails. We have to follow those rules by state law. And by PREA, we have to remove that, like I said, not only because of that rule, but for the protection of that individual, so they won't be threatened by letting people hide things up under it. It was for not only for the protection of the people in jail and the jailers, but for her protection as well. We have to be educated by you, and you need to be educated by us. That's community policing, to just answer double questions again. So we have to work together, and as sheriff, I will continue to work with you.
Thank you to the two sheriff candidates. Thank you all. We'll come back to closing statements. So the next race, it's Constable for Precinct 3. Nabil Shine is the candidate for that office.
Started in the name of God, the most beneficial, the most merciful. My dear respected brothers, sisters, and elders, my name is Nabil Shine, and it's an honor and a blessing and a privilege to serve as your Fort Bend County Precinct 3 Constable. So just a little bit about my qualifications, and I'll tell you straight up, there is no competition. Right? If you look at the qualifications, I have a Juris Doctor degree from Thurgood Marshall School of Law. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Lamar University with a minor in forensic psychology. I'm an FBI Law Enforcement Executive Development Association Trilogy recipient. I have over 5,500 hours of continuing education, Master Police Officer licensing with the Texas Commission of Law Enforcement. I'm a recipient of the Presidential Lifetime Achievement for being the first Muslim consul elected in the United States. I'm also a recipient of the Presidential Community Service Award, and also received the 2017 Community Service of the Year Award, the Humanitarian of the Year Award. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. It's been a blessing to serve as your constable. We've done a lot of great work, a lot of collaborations. The biggest weapon against crime is cooperation and collaboration. And a lot of the work that we do with the Sheriff's Office and the Fort Bend County DA's Office and all the partnerships that we have been able to develop, we have put training at our forefront. There's a reason why my Chief Deputy, Mr. Colunga had mentioned it earlier, was one of 4 in our region to be selected to go to the FBI National Academy. And so y'all give my Chief Deputy, Jim Evans, a round of applause. plus individuals that were all from all over the world. Because we put training at our forefront, we've invested about $40,000 into training into our deputies. And so, again, my name is Nabil Shaikh, and I am running for re-election for your Precinct 3 Constable.
Well, Mr. Shaikh, we have some questions for you. What would you say are the main achievements or improvements you brought to our community during your time as constable? For those who don't know, constable serves a 4-year position, and your precinct is a very diverse precinct also.
Oh, that is a great question. You know, one of my very first campaign promises was to diversify our command staff. That started with appointing my chief deputy as the first African American chief deputy in the department's history. My captain, Veronica Martin, she was the first Latina captain in our department's history. So just really kind of getting individuals that represent or that look like the community in positions of power. Fort Bend County did not even have Muslim deputies, didn't even have Pakistani deputies. And so myself and Sheriff Eric Fagan were the two that streamlined bringing in Muslim and Pakistani deputies into Fort Bend County. I have one of my Muslim deputies, or sergeant, sitting right there in the back, Sergeant Morgan. You know, you take a look at Money in Islamic Center. Money in Islamic Center was spending close to about $75,000 a year in just security, paying police officers to be there. Alhamdulillah, on day one, I believe it was a Friday, was the very first day that we took office. And on day one, we made sure that Money in Muslim doesn't have to pay another penny. The constable's offices are very unique because in Fort Bend County, you're statutorily required to do all your civil process. You don't have to necessarily do all the criminal stuff, which that's historically what the constables did in Fort Bend County until we came along and we started partnering with the sheriff's office and actually started doing a lot of real police work. So we are the only constable's office that is a full-fledged 24-hour police agency. None of the other constable's offices.
Had a chance to experience being a constable for the 4 years, engage with the residents. Is there like one thing that you could mention that you want to do better at, that you want to really see enacted for the next 4 years?
I think one of the biggest things that we struggle with as the constable is not having a commissioner. And you guys are going to hear from several commissioner candidates here today. It strains our budget. We operate on a $2 million, about a $2 million budget. We have the lowest budget out of all the constable's offices. If you look at the current commissioner right now, this commissioner used to work well with his previous constable. Now, I'm not going to call him racist or anything like that, but I am a Muslim constable. And I went to him from day one, the moment I was elected, and I walked to him and I was introduced by a good friend of his, and he straight up told me into my face that he wasn't going to help me. And for 3 years, we've been miserable. We have not been able to get a lot of the resources for my staff to be able to patrol the streets that they need to be able to do. So the most important thing for us right now, after my election, please vote for re-elect Councilor Shaikh, but it's to get a competent commissioner. Please hear all of these candidates out. All of them are supporting our campaign. They've all heard the troubles that we are going through our office when it comes to law enforcement. And the current commissioner calls himself the taxpayer's best friend, but he's just been kicking the can down the road.
And we keep the morale up for law enforcement, but also what happens is, how do we recruit the best and the brightest to become law enforcement individuals? What are the challenges that you're facing?
Well, I think, I don't know if it was Sonny or the sheriff touched on there being a national recruiting problem going on all across the country right now. And here in Fort Bend County, we're the lowest paid law enforcement officials throughout our entire region. And to put it into perspective, the city of Sugar Land Police Department just put out a recruiting ad, and I think it was at $65,000 starting police officer with a $10,000 signing bonus. And so if one of my deputies or one of the sheriff's deputies decides that they want to do what's known as a lateral, and they want to go over to the city of Sugar Land, they're going to start at about $15,000 or $20,000 more than what we're able to pay them. And so it makes it very difficult for the county to be able to pay the officers a better living wage because we're losing quality officers. So if we're losing quality officers to the cities and the school districts, which no knock to the school districts, they're not going to come out and be the ones that are responding to your home. Each and every single one of y'all want quality police officers responding to your home, right? This is a huge problem, and this is why it's very important, again, to listen to these candidates that are talking about your commissioner candidates. The sheriff and I have tried to streamline different things to try to retain some of our officers or recruit some of them. We don't get paid for incentive pay, so I have a Juris Doctorate degree. I don't get paid for a Juris Doctorate degree. My chief deputy has a master's degree. He doesn't get paid for his master's degree. You know, we have several bilingual police officers in Fort Bend County. None of us get paid because we're bilingual. You have guys like, you know, some of my guys in the back that work different shifts. None of them get paid for working different shifts. So how do we as a county recruit the best and the brightest? You can't. It's very, very, very difficult. And so, you know, we're working very hard. Again, please listen to these commissioner candidates because we need a commissioner.
All right, well, this is where we get to ask a community leader to step up and ask a question. Salman Razaki is the president of Pakistan Association of Greater Houston, and he has a question for you.
Okay. Let me get to it. How important is your heritage to you, and how will this bring it to your, as a policeman as well as your county, well, actually as a constable to our community? Heritage to, you know, to the job you do. Thankfully, there you go.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Samantha. Thank you very much. Everybody in here knows who my dad is, right? Everybody should almost pretty much know who my dad is. And so if you know anything about my dad bleeds green. His love for Pakistan is more than I've seen in any individual's eyes, heart, mind, anything. And so on his side. So he doesn't talk about American politics, all he talks about is Pakistan politics. So I know a lot about what's going on over there, that's all he talks about. Alhamdulillah, if you're coming into my office, you know, you'll have prayers all over, you know, the charcoal or, you know, Ayatul Kursi, the Kaaba, everywhere, all surrounding my entire office. You walk into my chief's office, you have the Quran that's sitting on the very top of his bookshelf, you know, and it's just something that we've been able to create. You know, my people didn't know what Muslims were. Didn't even understand what a Muslim was. I was the first Muslim that he actually was able to kind of interact with. And, you know, I wish you guys, if you'll get a chance to go talk to him, he can kind of share his experience as a non-Muslim, as a Christian when it comes to Muslims. And, you know, I take my heritage very proudly. I did write a letter to President Biden demanding a humanitarian ceasefire. I think I was the first elected official that did it. And so, all respect for all of our brothers and sisters, whether they're Muslim or non-Muslim, right is right and wrong is wrong.
Thank you, Nabil. Thank you. We'll have your closing statements later. So next panel, this is like the large for the same position that are coming today. And we'll be very informal. Whoever gets the mic first goes first. Each one of you gets 2 minutes for an introduction. You can stand here at the podium.
Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. My name is Ibrahim Javed and I'm one of your candidates to be the next county commissioner in Precinct 3 of Fort Bend County. I'm the son of my parents, Rubina and Tahir, who moved here to America from Pakistan like many of you for economic opportunity. Many of you in this room also come from a large family like me. It's my large family and my Muslim faith that actually guide me and tell me that the best of us are the best to our neighbors. And the primary job of our commissioners is to take care of our neighbors. Whether it's public safety, managing our property taxes, or managing where our money goes into the justice system, especially for the budget that goes to our constable as we just talked about earlier today. My siblings, my cousins, and I grew up serving our community, whether we were helping local officials get into office to represent our diverse values, or we were volunteering at mosques or churches on the weekends. This is what we grew up with, making sure we were giving back to the community. My grandfather, Reverend Ali Javed, who is one of my biggest inspirations, and I wish he could be here with us today, used to befriend people quite often. At one time, out of his curiosity, he became friends with the county judge in Jefferson County, where I actually grew up. After Hurricane Katrina, the county judge was worried about flood mitigation, like many of us here in Fort Bend County are worried about it as well. And he gave them some ideas from his time working on irrigation management in Pakistan. He told them about water reservoirs and how he could help mitigate flood by using those. And so the county judge took his advice and actually implemented that. That's how local government should work. You should have commissioners that engage with you, learn from your perspectives, and teach you about what it is they actually do. I think in local government across the country, people are not really sure what they do. People often have confused commissioners like us and candidates like us for running for police offices, but actually we're looking to manage your county budget. And so I hope to engage with you here today. I hope to talk about my experiences and how I can make this a better country for all of you to live in, and how we can make a brighter future for all of your family and children here in Fort Bend County. Thank you again.
Assalamualaikum everyone. How are y'all doing this evening? Good, good. My name is Sarul Patel, and I am another candidate running for Fort Bend County Commissioner, Precinct 3. But before I go into my qualifications and vision and the things we want to do, I want to share a little story that affected all of us in this room in 2020. On March 10th, 2020, we got the first case of COVID in the entire state of Texas. At that time, I was serving as our county's chief of staff. This is when there was a gentleman in a cruise in Egypt, and we didn't know what was going on, but we got to work. We started setting up testing sites. Eventually, we started up setting COVID vaccination sites. And because of all the work we were doing, we were still in a state of incredible uncertainty all throughout Fort Bend County. We had businesses that were shutting down. I remember getting calls from all the local imams during that time saying, Darrell, what are we going to do? How do we stop Friday prayers? And remember, this is March. Ramadan was just around the corner. So one of the things we did, we said, we respect people's right to worship and do it safely in Fort Bend County. We created opportunities to make sure we had virtual iftars. We had virtual food deliveries for people who couldn't have it. We had many ways of doing fellowship and more because we were creative of what we did in Fort Bend County. We led the way. A little about me. I grew up here in Fort Bend County, not too far from where this restaurant is right now. We have worked so hard over many years through my experience at county government. We've translated the county website into Urdu and 17 other languages. We have created the only small business grant program to improve small business owners right here. Many of whom, including this restaurant, got a lot of benefits from, and that's what we want to do, is make sure we move and change the status of Fort Bend County to support our small business community. And most importantly, we work with a lot of big companies, NewQuest and others on development. But all the small businesses that are in this room today deserve the chance to know about the economic incentives that can help Fort Bend County. And that's what my goal is to do for all of you. From Chapter 313 to tax abatements, TERSs, and everything else. Let's make sure we can attract the best and the brightest to Fort Bend County. Thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm Zishan Isaac. I'm running for Commissioner Precinct 3. So let me first say sorry to all of you. The reason I'm late, because that's the life that I see when I get elected as the commissioner, because it's all about priority management. I was at the other part of the town, which was almost 30 minutes away, and what was happening with it? Mayors, all the mayors were there. All the city council members were there. Commissioners, they gotta work, collaborate with them. I'm running for Commissioner Precinct 3 since April 12, 2021. That's right, you heard me correctly. It's April 12, 2021. In September 2021, that's when the precinct law changed. I had two choices. Do the right thing or don't do the right thing. So obviously, I chose the former. I did the right thing. How am I going to fight for everyone's rights if I'm starting something sacred? Because public service is sacred based on a law. So, a little bit about myself. I have grown up in Karachi, Pakistan. I came to this country when I was a teenager. It was my American dream. Got my bachelor's, MIS from U of H, Go Cougs. Got my MBA in e-business. My lovely wife and son, they're both here. We raised a great son. He's a young man now. He's also going to U of H. Main idea of a commissioner or the primary duty is to manage budgets. I've successfully managed $250 million budget, and just like Constable Shai said, he's given me an earful for 3 years. I've been meeting with all the other fellow commissioners. Even I met Commissioner Dexter McCoy. Commissioners, their duty is to manage budgets. And how do we put that money back to our buildings? There are a lot of issues. There are a lot of policy making as well. There are a lot of accountability, infrastructure, building upon infrastructure, and emergency management. The good news is that my experience working with local non-profits as well as different organizations at the national level at the same time at American Express, and being a radio host and TV host for over 20 years, I know this community because I'm one of you. So thank you so much. ZishanIsaac.com, or easy to remember, ZishanIsaac.com for more information.
Thank you. I'm just going to request everybody to kind of respect the candidates when they're speaking, because we can hear some of your conversations all the way in the front. So if you need to have that conversation, please, if you can step out, appreciate it. Thank you again. Well, we'll start with Mr. Patel. Get the mic first for the first question. And then it'll go to Mr. Isaac and then Mr. Javed. So many people here actually don't know what a commissioner does, and they also want to know what is it that you don't do as a commissioner. And if you can kind of explain, each of you can explain this to the community that's sitting here so we understand.
Great question. The duties of a commissioner are those of making sure your day-to-day life is taken care of. We manage the libraries, the parks, the roads. When you're stuck, red light after red light after red light, infrastructure is our bread and butter. We fix the roads, we build bridges and libraries and all the things that make us go. Fort Bend County is at a crossroads. We started in 1970 with 52,000 residents. Today, we are at 900,000 residents. In the next 2 years, we're going to be at 1 million residents, which means we need to make sure we have roads so we're not stuck in traffic congestion. We run the county ambulance system so that when somebody is having a major issue, these ambulances and police vehicles can get through quickly and efficiently to save lives. We are maybe one of the last people that are on your ballot when you're going in to vote, but we have the biggest impact on your day-to-day life, including for property taxes, taking care of our children, and fully funding our law enforcement. So it is a wide cast of things that we have to do, and I have the experience to help make sure we get it done. I've worked at the local level, I've worked at the state level, I've worked at the federal level, and I have a successful business right here in Fort Bend County, which is why I want to make sure that as we experience this growth, we pull every lever of our county government to make sure we can use our incentives to attract businesses such as DG Cement from Pakistan to set up shop right here in Fort Bend County. Thank you.
So I'll give a very short answer. County commissioner is the CEO of the precinct. Okay? So a CEO, if you think about it, you're not going to do everything yourself. You gotta also delegate. You gotta know when you gotta delegate. Then you gotta work with the sheriff's department. You gotta work with the constable office. You also gotta work with public works. There are 3,500 employees working for the county. There are also about 800 or 900, please correct me, the sheriff. 900 officers, deputies working under his command. There are also about 30 or 40 deputies under Constable Nabil Shai's command. Now, we talked about the budget. Again, it boils down to the budget. We cannot move our eye from the ball. Because how are we going to retain these officers? That's why on day one, I went to the police association. Mark Poland, he is the chief of Sugarland. Then Jonathan White and Shanapanic Fagan was there. And there were other police chiefs, and we were discussing about community policing, bridging the gap between communities and law enforcement. How are we going to get the job done when our law enforcement, they could be snatched by other agencies because they want to pay them well? So yes, what Mr. Patel said, that's exactly correct. But this precinct is the most diverse precinct in the nation. So all of us have a duty because it's about our children, our grandchildren's future, it's about our future. So this is where I have been training, working with the law enforcement, working with these great gentlemen right here, also working with the non-profits, and at the end of the day, property taxes. I have a plan to lower our property taxes. I'm saying that as a Democrat, it's not an empty promise. Short answer, I will increase the sales tax revenue, but I'm bringing in big businesses because I have negotiated multi-million-dollar contracts on behalf of American Express. That's how we're going to increase the sales tax revenue and offset the property taxes or even mud taxes. We cannot eliminate it, but maybe we can reduce it. So there's a lot that Commissioner do, but remember, he's the CEO of the precinct. Thank you.
Raise your hand if you own a home. You don't have to be humble. Just raise your hand if you have a home. Okay. In Texas, we claim that we don't have a state income tax, but instead we take taxes and put it on your property, on your home. And so part of that property tax goes to the state of Texas, some of that goes to the school districts in which your kids go to, and some of that goes to Fort Bend County. And so Fort Bend County's Commissioner's Court is comprised of 4 commissioners. There's 4 precincts in Fort Bend County. They divide the 4 precincts up by population, and each precinct gets a commissioner. So one of us are trying to be your next commissioner in Precinct 3, which includes this restaurant, the Sugar Land area surrounding it, and many other cities. And so what they're supposed to do is tax your homes with the property tax rate that they determine year over year, and then they determine from that what revenues they're going to collect, and then they determine from that how much they're going to spend, the county budget for Fort Bend County. And so each precinct advocates for what they need in their precinct, and then they come together, they set the tax rate, they make sure they have the revenues coming in. They also work with sales tax in order to make sure that they're getting those businesses in the county, but will not harming them or making it too stringent on them, but making sure we can get diversified revenue streams. And then they support you with public goods, like public safety, infrastructure, the roads you drive on, the traffic signals you drive by frustratedly, and then make sure that this is a county that is easier for you to live in, to operate your business in, and to actually travel to Harris County and back like many people do when they live in Fort Bend County. But here's what Commissioner doesn't really do to the level I think they should. Economic development. I think many people here talked about bringing in big corporations. I don't believe that is the solution to our next generation. We need to start the next big ideas right here. Clean tech, green energy jobs can be starting from scratch here in Fort Bend County. We have some of the smartest school districts in the country. We have people in middle school and high school that are smarter than I am that can start their entrepreneurship journey here in Fort Bend County, and we can modify our tax base to be more dependent on businesses like them in the future, as opposed to our residential property taxes here that penalize people for wanting to have a home here in Fort Bend County in the long term. Just yesterday, I met a renter who dreamed of having a home here and needs support to become a first-time home buyer here in Fort Bend County. But that's only possible if we work on economic development in the long term, and I hope that helps you understand. My timer is up.
Okay. So the next question will be answered in this order by Mr. Isaac, then Mr. Javed, and then Mr. Patel.
I always call myself Zishan Isaac. It's an Anglo-American for all the non-Desis because you don't want to butcher the prophet's name as well. So they always say Ishak, Ishak. So I said, okay, at least say Isaac. But for us, we're all Zishan Isaac.
All right, Mr. Isaac, I'll make sure to make note of that. So wanted to ask a question. Specifically, what are the challenges that are facing Precinct 3 and its residents? And if you kind of describe geography-wise what Precinct 3 looks like, what neighborhood it covers, so people have an idea of where it is in Fort Bend County.
Thank you for the question. What pressing issues? 8 billion with a B. Bravo, best, brilliant, right? With a B. $8 billion of public and private assets. Public and private assets are at risk in Fort Bend County. You may ask why. Does anyone know why? There you go. That's why I've been mentored and trained by these gentlemen as well. Because at the end of the day, there is Project Brazos River erosion going on. They have done a $16 million study. Remember, $16 million, nothing, peanuts, because we gotta save those properties. Flooding. We all have seen what happened during Hurricane Harvey. Raise of hands. Most of us were impacted. And by grace of God, some of us were saved. But we were out there. He was out there. In fact, Shah was out there when I was helping his charity organization and others who are sitting here. So that's number one issue. Number two is in terms of lowering your property taxes as well. So flooding, threat across the Brazos River, and then with regards to ensuring that how are we going to keep our safe streets. Now everyone talks about the constable. I can be careful. Hey, why are we not getting more patrolling on the streets? You want to make your constable successful? Vote me in the office. I'll make sure that our constable office will always have the resources at their disposal. This is my promise to you, because I know as a Democrat, I'm a gun owner, but not everyone is a gun owner. So we gotta have some presence. If you go to New York, you see it. Chief Yasser Bashir, Assistant Chief HPD, he mentioned that. You go to New York, every corner, what do we see? NYPD presence there. I'm not saying that we're gonna make this the police state, sorry, constable, but we gotta make sure that at least we are patrolling. There's response time issues. They are under stress. So that's where we gotta make sure we prioritize these things. And that's where my business and local non-profits experience and knowing what our priorities and issues are, I'll get the job done day one. I'll hit the ground running day one. Thank you.
Sure. What are the specific challenges that are facing Precinct 3 and its residents, and maybe describe also like where Precinct 3 is in Fort Bend County and neighborhoods, geography-wise?
Yeah, we probably should have done a map. So Precinct 3 covers, Constable asked me to talk about the 84 neighborhoods in Precinct 3 and 50 plus apartment complexes, but it includes the Sugarland area, greater Sugarland areas like Riverstone and areas like Telfair, greater Richmond areas like Oleana, Meadows Place. You mentioned, for example, they had a mayor forum recently. The mayor of Meadows Place was there. It includes Town West, many of you live there. Parts of Stafford, parts of Missouri City. And if any of you here are curious if you live in Precinct 3, all of us can help you by showing you the county map, putting in your address, and confirming for you if you live in Precinct 3. We're happy to do that here after we all talk here on the forum. When it comes to Precinct 3, people in this community ask about a couple of different things. The first thing is, what does the commissioner do? Like many of you asked us earlier today, and that's okay. It's not their fault that they've not been empowered to learn about what commissioners do. But I think one of the biggest things people are worried about here in the county is that they don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, and they don't understand that people in local government are looking after them, or looking out for them. And so I think a big part of what I hope to do as your next commissioner is to actually educate people on what I'm supposed to be doing, so that they can in turn hold me accountable as their next commissioner. So I think that people in local government too often benefit from our ignorance. Because if I don't know that a police officer is supposed to keep me safe, how can I hold them accountable for crime? That's the symptom of a lot of issues. That's the cause of a lot of issues in government that we see today. Another thing people often ask about is property taxes, as I talked to you in the beginning. So many people want to buy a home here, they just need support. And a lot of first-time home buyers, or people intending to be first-time home buyers I spoke to, as I'm going around Precinct 3, and I've told them that I want to help them throughout that process. It's not something you learn in middle school or high school or even college unless you go seeking that information out. And many people don't have family members there to guide them through that process. So I want to be a commissioner that holds people's hands, walks them through our county services, and educates them about how we can help them. There's so many services the county provides. People don't even know how to call county animal services in order to report a stray cat. So there's a lot of not misinformation, but a lack of information, and we need to empower our constituents here to know what we do as commissioners so that they can actually hold us accountable, take advantage of the services we provide. And so I say the biggest problem is that people don't know what we do. The second biggest is that they want us to take a better look at property taxes and home buyer support, and also public safety, which is why it's important we talk to our sheriff candidates. Thank you.
I think most people here have talked about the map: Sugarland, Meadows Place, Missouri City, Stafford, Oleana. So I'll talk about some of the three most pressing issues in Fort Bend County. One, some of the other candidates mentioned this, it's flooding. 65% of the taxable property in Precinct 3, commercial and residential, are under the 500-year floodplain of the Brazos River. Any guesses on how much it costs to fix the Brazos River? Any guesses? 2 billion. Is it 2 billion? 2 billion. $3 billion, and that are taxes that we cannot afford for Fort Bend County residents.
I can get it done for 2.
So I can get it done for 2. That being said, we can't ask our residents into topping up $2 billion or $3 billion. We have to bring down the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers funding, FEMA funding, Brazos River Authority funding, which are all entities I work with at every level of government to make sure we can actually solve our flooding issues. We can't do it alone. When it floods in College Station, when it rains in College Station, it floods here in Sugarland. Number 2 is our law enforcement is one of the lowest paid law enforcement in the entire region. We have EMS staff, EMTs that are working 72-hour shifts and 40 hours off. They're working so hard but being paid so little, where in the 48 hours they have off, when they're taking care of our heart attacks, gunshot wounds, and other things, they're taking part-time jobs. Shame on us as a community if we cannot invest in those who invest and take care of us on a day-to-day basis. Right. Number 3. Fort Bend County has anybody heard about a gold card program? Gold card. Yes. Okay, I see some hands being raised. Fort Bend County has 20% uninsured population. 125 counties in Texas have a hospital district. We don't have that. If we introduce a hospital district in Fort Bend County, 20% of our uninsured senior citizens from Pakistan and many countries would get health insurance and able to live dignified lives. Right now, what is happening, people are showing up at the ER when it's too late.
Mr. Patel and Mr. Azad. This is kind of a little bit, I don't know, it might be risky for you all to answer this question because this is about your colleagues. One of you is going to serve with the other commissioners in Fort Bend County. And we want you to know from you, what is the one thing that the group of county commissioners have done right? And the one thing that you think they didn't do that great job or could do a better job, or you didn't agree with a project or a policy coming out of the Commissioner's Court. So a little bit more detail and insight. I'm sure you all have been watching the Commissioner Court meetings. For all of those that don't know, those are also went live. So sometimes they're not the most exciting meetings, but you realize that in a matter of 1 hour, millions of dollars are being spent on projects in your county, and you may not even know about it. So, if we can start with Mr. Javed on that.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. Just to read it for people who came in the back, we were asked to talk about one good thing that our current commissioners on the court have done, and one bad thing or thing they would improve rather about what they've done in the court. I'm going to start in the reverse. I think one bad thing they've done, and this is to educate all of you, our Commissioner's Court has many special interests. We talk about Congress all the time, and special interests in Congress, like AIPAC funding the Israeli lobby, making sure we don't actually get a ceasefire in Palestine, which we should have immediately. But in local government, we have just as many special interests. We have engineering firms and PACs that contribute to candidates like us, and when we get on Commissioner's Court and we spend on infrastructure, they're spending that maybe could have been, like our Uncle Samad here just said, $2 billion instead of $3 billion. And that's something that happens in local governments across the country. And I'm not saying that to demean the political action committees themselves or the engineering firms themselves, but as a commissioner, if I'm managing your money, but someone gives me money from the different firms here in the area, you can't trust me to be an independent voice for you all the time. And that's something that I would like to criticize all of them for, that they need to be more mindful of the money they accept, because that talks about a lot about the commissioner they're going to be, they're going to continue to be when they're on Commissioner's Court. They're not going to think about the everyday renters in our community who are struggling to buy a home. They're not going to think about the small business owners who are struggling in this area to make sure they can sustain themselves. They're only going to think about the people that have donated to them, and they're going to...
In recent history, every single year, our toll road fees have been going up and up and up and up. You are paying 44 cents an axle. You have, like me, likely 2 axles on your car. You are almost paying $1 every toll intersection you pass by. That is within the direct control of the County Commissioner's Court. We don't control your gallon of gas. We don't control your gallon of milk at the store, but we do control your toll roads. My proposal that I disagree maybe with all the commissioners on is to have a 10% reduction for all Easy Tag users on Fort Bend County toll roads to provide a living for our revenue. And that's something we can get done. Now, what I agree with is I have worked hand in hand with every single commissioner in Fort Bend County, Republican, Democrat, on a variety of projects from economic development to diversity. I am proud that we have all come together as a bipartisan Commissioner's Court to promote diversity and initiatives. We passed the most significant youth internship, paid internship program for our community's youth. That program has been so transformative where we paid them $15 an hour. We asked them, what is your interest? Is it healthcare? Is it law? Is it engineering? Is it any other thing? And we match them up for 3 months in the county, different offices. And they get the best job experience they could possibly imagine. Every single elected official here and in the crowd knows the value of this. I have personally written the recommendation letters of many youth, including many Pakistani youth, that are going in to pursue fields that they learned at the county government. I want to take that diversity to the next level. Fort Bend County needs to be aggressive about pursuing diverse opportunities, which is why I am so proud today to announce that I want to go after bringing the Pakistan Center to Fort Bend County, because we all live here. All of our communities will benefit here by doing bold actions right here where people don't have to drive to Harris County. Thank you so much.
Lieutenants here, can I
Over and over again, and expecting a different result is insanity, okay? So we can make all the promises in the world, ladies and gentlemen, right? All the promises, where the money is going to come from, right? That's where the budget management experience again comes back into the picture. Negotiation as well. I think the question was more in terms of what is a good thing that the Commissioner's Court has done. One good thing that I would say, they purchased the body cams. And in fact, I would like to give a round of applause. Please join me for Sheriff 2020. In 2020, when he got elected, we also did history in 2020 by electing the first Muslim constable as well. Fort Bend County didn't have body cams before 2020. So I applaud the Commissioner's Court and especially the Commissioner to purchase the body cams. But guess where the body cams came from? CADs. CAD funds. You know what CAD is? Central Appraisal District. So this is why I'm saying when you gotta inject fresh blood into the system, ladies and gentlemen. That's where Zishan Issaquah, Commissioner Precinct 3, comes into the picture. Now, what another good thing or maybe the bad thing that the Commissioner's Court is doing? Like the moderator said, it's millions and millions and millions of dollars are, $30,000 there, 100,000 there, maybe some could be questioned. The constable office was operating during the winter freeze without a generator. Is that right, constable? Can you believe that? So these are the issues. It costs what, $10,000, $8,000, but I'm, joining and watching these videos. They're spending 100 grand there, 50 grand there, and the incumbent commissioner obviously is bragging about his own record. He can only run on his record, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be making empty promises because I'm a pragmatic citizen, I'm a pragmatic leader, and I will get the job done. I will bring in the non-profit organization. I can also say that, hey, we're going to bring Bangladeshi Center right here in Fort Bend. Where's the money going to come from? Maybe they don't want to move to Fort Bend. So these are the discussions. It's great for a round of applauses, but this is where I want you to vote with your conscience when you go to that booth, when you go to that poll. Tell your friends and family, because politics is all about trust. And that's where I'm counting on you, each one of you. Thank you so much.
The last question we have here will be answered in the order with Mr. Patel going first, then Mr. Javed, and then Mr. Isaac closing out. You know what's interesting about working with a team is you come up with a question and then the team comes back and says, we have a better question. We just talked to somebody in the back room that had a great question. So this is an impromptu question. This is related to public transportation. We have people in this room that want to know what's happening with maybe Metro coming to Fort Bend. What about Park and Ride? What about the different kinds of transportation, public transportation that's being thought about in Commissioner's Court, and what should be coming to Fort Bend County?
Like I said, we are at a crossroads in Fort Bend County. We are almost at 1 million residents. Many of you have been driving on Highway 6. I know I've been driving on Highway 6 since I was a kid. And we face same congestion after congestion after congestion from a 2-lane dirt road back in the day to what it is now. We have to think about full-time modal transportation. Right after college, my first job was working for the House Committee on Transportation at a state legislature, where we thought about creative solutions to fixing our transit problems. One of the things we want to do in Fort Bend County is one of the things that my dad did for many years. He took the park and ride when he worked downtown at HPD as a friends and guests. We took the park and ride. We don't have enough park and rides in Fort Bend County. It is an unbelievably popular program where, imagine this, you could come to a restaurant like this, park your car outside, and instead of sitting in the summer brutal heat, you go to a local coffee shop, you plug in your phone, you drink some coffee or some chai, you can do some Wi-Fi and some work, and then you jump on the bus, you get to where you need to be. We gotta invest more in public transit. And the second reason it's really important is we have a lot of senior citizens in our community. Whether they are from Pakistan, Mexico, or any other country, loneliness is really important. And I know my grandparents have personally experienced this. You are isolated from the community you got to grow up in. Public transit, hospital district, these are the ways we can make sure that our forefathers, our ancestors, our elder communities can be taken care of. they can get to the masjid on transit. They can get to the church on transit. They can get to their doctor's appointment on transit. Fort Bend County has not done a good job of investing more into transit, and I want to use my relationships with the chair of Metro, Sanjay, to make sure we get those funding down here. I've worked on a variety of transit projects all throughout Texas and in the country through the IRA and the IIJA. My goal is to make sure we pull in as much federal and state money to have more parking rides and hopefully one day, inshallah, passenger rail on the Highway 98 corridor. Thank you.
First of all, thank you to your team for coming up with that last second question. That's a really important question, and it's a multi-faceted question, and so I'm going to use that as an excuse to plug in why Commissioner's Court has to work with different entities in government. So we have state representatives here. Dr. Lani, many of you know, is also in this area. We also have our Congressional District 7, and so Rubeis is running to be our next congressman there. And those are two people that understand that this is a place that needs to have more affordable transportation, whether for our elderly or people that actually can't afford to go to the doctor because they can't find the means of transportation. That's actually something maybe some of us in the room cannot relate to, but many people here actually don't get their healthcare needs met because they can't not only afford the healthcare, but not only are they uninsured or underinsured, but they don't actually have access to transportation that is affordable for them to get to the doctor. It's actually a proven fact, and if you look at the health assessment that Fort Bend County did a few years back, you'll see that that's one of the big problems people are facing. So we have to work with all levels of government, and we have to make sure that we're getting funding here, because this is a very expensive task that people might look at and they'll think that infrastructure for transportation is difficult. We've seen many promises of failed transportation, from hyperloops across Texas to making sure we have transit in smaller rural areas, and I recognize people are very jaded by that. But when you have people in office, especially in the Democratic Party, that really care about our elderly, people that don't have access to health care, people that need a better way of getting around to work, these things can get done. And so that's why we need more Democratic elected officials in this area who believe in these things, so we can work together at the state, federal, and local levels at County Commissioner's Court to make sure we have the funding for this, the capacity for this, and strategic planning so that there's no redundancies in what we're trying to chase after here, especially in the Sugar Land area, the Fort Bend County area as a whole. And so I hope that we can get your support to make that possible. And one other thing I wanted to talk about was promoting the tech entrepreneurship here is a way to actually make sure that we can bring the next big ideas for transportation and entrepreneurship in a way that hasn't been thought of before. I want to rethink the way we do engineering, from paving our roads to getting places. And that's something that the people in this county can do. We have some of the brightest minds, like I said before. We just need to empower them. And if we empower them, I think we'll see great results, not only in 1 year, but in 10 years. And that's what we need to do as commissioners to empower a greater and a brighter future here for everyone. Thank you.
So there is, I think it's the same question I'm answering. So there is a mobility project that is being worked on from Harris County, and it will go 16 miles toward Fort Bend. So I would like to engage with our newly elected Houston's mayor, John McMahon. I saw him within 24 hours. It's easier to just pick up the phone, call, and make those relationships. But you know what? Many of us came to this country from third world country. That's exactly how these things are done over there. We have a process in place. Are we going to always look for those relationships? Then hey, we're gonna call this person, that person. That's why at American Express, the first thing that was mentored and coached to me by my leader was, and it was a sheik at that time, she told me, hey Zishan, it's great we're building all these relationships, but at the end of the day, we gotta put the processes in place. We gotta put controls in place. We gotta put governance and the framework in place. That's where my experience comes into the picture. We talked a little bit earlier about Fort Bend County Animal Services. Their budget has been increasing from 2014 all the way to now 2020. It started in 2005 or so for $500,000. Guess what? Their budget is now at almost $1.8 billion. And when you talk to them, I was there yesterday night, when you talk to them, they're saying there's a no-kill shelter. It's a technicality that they have to save that many cats and dogs and animals. And you can always try to bend the rules or laws. But if that empathy, compassion, and that pragmatic experience is not there, not putting the processes and controls in place, you can make 1,000 phone calls, but you won't be able to get that result. And then what happens when that person who is doing that relationship, he moves on and doing other things? We have a process broken. That's exactly where the problem is. And the solution is then our local government, we gotta restore their confidence, especially like Fort Bend County Animal Services, a prime example. Talk to Pauline and she'll give you an earful. She has been giving me an earful for almost, a week now. And that's the job of a leader, to listen and then recognize, understand the problem, find the solution, work with those key stakeholders, and at the end of the day, get the job done. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. We next move to our next race for Texas State Rep, Ron Reynolds, to come and speak to us. You have 2 minutes for your opening remarks, sir.
Well, good evening. I'm no stranger to this community, and I want to matters. Elections matter. When everyone was scared and afraid to speak truth to power and call for a ceasefire, this state representative was happy to partner with we made history. You guys know that we made history as the first state that had a Democratic Party to pass a resolution for a ceasefire. I'm proud to have sponsored that and pushed the Democratic Party even when they were afraid of AIPAC. AIPAC can't do anything when we come together as a community to ride together. And I was happy to be among the first in the Texas legislature to sponsor Pakistani Day at the state capitol. I was proud to be sponsoring Muslim Day at the Capitol. I was proud that no one wanted to support Q Imam for Fort Bend ISD. I was proud to do that. When the Rio ran for council in Sugar Land, I was proud. When Farhad ran, when Sonia Raj ran. So leadership matters, election matters, diversity matters. So I've proven that I stand with the Pakistani community, not when it's convenient, but when every time. And I think that I'm the person that understands that the needs of the business community, understanding the needs of our education system. We need more people with access to healthcare. I've been on the right side of those issues, and I'm asking for you to re-elect me to my 8th term in the Texas House. Thank you so much. I'm excited when I look at the room. There's so many friends that I've known over the years. So thank you so much.
We have some questions for you. So in Austin, we all know that the Democrat Party is a minority party. It just doesn't have the majority votes to pass legislation on its own. So that means it has to work across the aisle. What kind of strategies have you used to work across?
Rare defeats that we handed Governor Abbott. He called us back for special session because he wanted to get vouchers passed so that he could gut our public schools. Well, Farhad, I was proud as one of the leaders of the Democratic Party to partner with some of the rural Republicans to kill vouchers. So we were able to stop the slaughter of our public schools because, you know what? Our public schools are the great equalizers. Our public schools are where we educate our kids to compete in a global economy. And we need to do more to fund our public schools. Right now, Texas ranks 43rd out of 50 states in funding per pupil. 43rd. Our teachers are among the bottom in pay, and we had a record surplus. So I was proud to work across the aisle to make sure that we maintain strong public schools, and that was one of the rare things. And so there are many other things that I've done, but unfortunately, until we get a Democrat majority, we won't get Medicaid expansion in Texas. We will continue to lead the nation with the highest number of uninsured. We'll continue to have climate deniers. Both Democrat from the top to the bottom so that we can change this state.
Works with AAPI Rise, which is another voter empowerment group for the Asian Pacific community, which includes pretty much 99% of us in that group. And she has a question for you. You might have alluded to it a little bit, but you know this is good question.
All right. Good evening, Representative Reynolds. We're so grateful and proud of the work you've done in helping us talk about a ceasefire, getting that letter out about a ceasefire. But I guess my question is, why is that important? Why is it important that the TDP unanimously passed a ceasefire resolution, the first one in the nation, and still only 1 of 2? Why is it important that folks like you keep pushing our party to be our better selves? What does it matter? I mean, we're seeing the carnage. I think it's top of mind for all of us. What is it that we can do? What is it that we're doing, and why is it important?
Well, yeah, that's a great question. And I want y'all to know, in his absence, we're grateful to have Congressman Green, because Congressman Green has been on the right side of history, and he's been bold and audacious. And it shouldn't take bold and audacious because it's the right thing to do. It is a human rights tragedy and violation. It is an atrocity. And I'm a pro-Biden person, but I've been disappointed with President Biden in his stance, because he needs to stand up to Putin. He needs to stand up to the members in Congress and say, you know what they're doing is innocent civilians, innocent people, to the droves of tens of thousands of women, children, and civilians are being slaughtered. We can't let the AIPAC and the media to distort that. And I know that there was an initial attack, but to me, they are doing everything they can to basically extinguish the Palestinians. And I am pissed off. I'm upset about that. And I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to speak truth to power. I'm going to continue, whether it's President Biden or if it was Barack Obama. I don't care who it is, because I want to be on the right side of history. I want to be able to sleep at night. And I don't think history, when the history books are written years later, I think that they're going to be very critical of those who were silent, because guess what? Silence is complicity. If you're not standing up, then you're really on the wrong side of the issue. So we need more people that are unafraid, unapologetic, unbought, and unpaid for. That's why I'm happy to have people like Congressman Jamal Bowman, AOC, and Rashida Tlaib, the squad, because they're going and they're taking the arrows. We need more people in Congress, more people in the legislature. I even challenge some of my other people. I even challenge some of my Muslim friends. Like, look, if you're not speaking up, then you're complicit. And so I'm very thankful for you, Nabila, for you, Farha, and everyone that has joined me. And we're there. The Bill Shaik was there. We were there at Sugarland when we had at the town center demanding a ceasefire. So I'm going to continue to do it. I sponsored the event in Austin at the state capitol when tens of thousands of people showed up. I was happy to sponsor that. And guess what? Here's the shameful part about it. Some other members of the legislature were afraid. Maran, I don't give a damn what they think. This is the right thing to do. I'm going to sponsor this letter, and you all showed up. You showed out. So that is why elections matter, and I'm going to continue to fight. I'm proud to be the chair of the Texas Legislative Black Caucus, and we stand with you. I'm proud to be the former founder of the Texas Progressive Caucus, and we stand with you. The Progressive Caucus and the Black Caucus stands united with, and one of the reasons why why it matters for her, and one of the reasons why Biden's numbers have dropped, is because the African American community has been in solidarity. We're one of the most loyal base for the Democratic Party. But we're pushing back on Biden and saying, if you don't do something about this, then you're going to lose votes. And the Texas Democratic Party got it right, and it's time for us to change the shift of the entire Congress to make sure that we do something immediately. And I do support a two-state solution. That is the right on all of the
Thank you, Representative Brown. We'll be closing statements up ahead, and we have one more race to talk about, which is for the Democratic Party chair, Mr. Shantali. You've got 2 minutes for your opening remarks.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody. How are you? Look, I'm no stranger to this community. When Mr. Tahir Javed ran, I supported him, worked for him. When Farah ran, I worked for you, helped you. Nabila, you ran, I worked for you. He ran for ISD and treasurer, I worked for you. And my active involvement in the community goes back for 20 years. I'm here to build our dream, go to college. I started a company with $700. Now it's worth multi-million. My story is not unique. The highest started company is $500. Now it's so my story is not unique. It's our story. It's saying I belong to this community, and that's like American stories. It's any other races. So why am I running to be the leader of the Democratic Party? Because last 20 years I got the experience working with all the communities in Fort Bend, not just this community, every communities, all communities. You've seen me working in trenches. So there are 5 things I want to do for the party. Number 1, I want to unify the base and to broaden the base. You need someone who's connected to the communities regardless of race, color, religion. And you know I have done that for this community already. I don't have to prove that. So I want to bring that to the Democratic Party. Number 2, I want to raise $250,000 for the party. Number 3, I want to be able to invest our advocate issues such as healthcare, education, women's right to choose, women's rights, equal opportunities. Those are the issues. Voter registration, and finally, build a super democratic machine to recruit more qualified people from all races, religion across the Fort Bend County. That's why I'm running. Thank you.
Well, the next question is, how will you work to unite Democrats who have such diverse views in our county and ensure that everybody feels represented and included?
I'm glad. Thank you for the question. Doing a fine job at this, and thank you for the organizing committee for this. If anybody understands diversity, yes, I do. Because look at me. I am a product of the diversified community in America. I understand the minority pain. I understand what it takes to be making money, working hard day and night, be a family, get up at 6 o'clock, make sure your kids go to school, work hard, pay the taxes, pay the employees. So yes, I've seen to being poor, I have been middle class, and I have been rich. So anybody understand our society's differences? I do, as a human being. To be a leader, you have to understand what each economic sectors of our Fort Bend County look like. If you do not understand, somebody just want to be a leader because you can, that's not going to give you the necessary leadership and understanding of the community to be connected to the communities. They're Hindus, Muslims, Christians. They're poor, middle class, rich, working class. You need a leader, Democratic Party, that's been poor, that's been middle, that's been rich, that's hard work, paid 3 jobs to pay the college, raised family, supported the mother, supported the neighbor, help your communities. We work with you hands to hand. That is the kind of person I am. And I'm the one going to put this party together, bridge all the party across this community and the county to make a winning machine Democratic Party to defeat the Republicans and Trump and Abbott policies. Thank you.
Thank you.
So elections is about getting the vote out, right? And the county changed from red to blue because of voter turnout, because of policies, and because of the candidates. Can you explain your plan on increasing voter engagement and participation in these elections, and how, especially in communities that feel they're disengaged, there are a lot of people here that are saying, I don't know if I want to vote in this election. I'm so depressed with the news. I don't know the candidates. I may not be happy with all of them. Maybe it's better I don't vote. How do you speak to that person?
I'm glad you asked the question. You bring the candidates. Candidates are the candidates. Bethel and Sri and Katie and Brad Middleton was the chemistry that brought the tsunami in this Fort Bend County. There was ripple effect and down, and we're still enjoying that fruits that came down with all the work that Fort Bend County have done. So number 3 points that I was proposing that find out, identify qualified candidates. Exciting qualified candidate. That brings excited people. Number 2 is you have to be able to raise money. A candidate to raise money to win this election. Sign costs money, texting costs money, email costs money, poll worker costs money, voter registration driving costs money, knocking door costs money, door hanger costs money, t-shirt costs money. A lot of candidates are losing because they don't have the money to invest to win these races. A lot of candidates I'm seeing in Fort Bend County right now, they have no money to replace the broken signs. I'm able to do that because I can raise money. So if you have the ability to understand what are the reasons you win election, what are the reasons you lose election, is a candidate's message and money and connection to the community. If you find just any candidate just come up one day, I want to run, he has no connection to the community, he cannot raise any money, he is not good in messaging, what does it do good to our party? That's a losing candidate. We have to find good candidates who is able to raise money, who is connected to the community. That's a winning formula. That's how you're going to win against the strong Republican base for our party. It's very easy. It's not great science, it's not rocket science.
Thank you so much, folks. So we start off with our congressional candidate, Mr. Pervez Agwan, and I think it goes down the line and then back to Ron Reynolds and Shahakali. You've got 2 minutes.
Can you hear me in the back? Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for the hospitality and the opening. Round of applause for all of our candidates, please, everybody. You know, 1 year ago when I launched my campaign, I looked at my mama and I said, Mama, मैं कांग्रेस के लिए खड़ा हो रहा हूँ. She looks at my wife and she goes, कोई जरूरत नहीं. She goes, लोग क्या कहेंगे मेरा बेटा politician बन रहा है. And I'm like, Mama, क्या हुआ? You should have gone to medical school. I'm like, Mama, क्या हुआ? She's like, your mom will call me from Maryland. He says, क्या कर रहा है? नाम मोहम्मद इनका Texas में करा रहा है. I'm like, Ted Cruz. I'm like, Mama, फिकर ना करो. I'm running in Sugarland. Right? Because this is the largest Pakistani Asian American Hindu Muslim Arab population in the state of Texas in one district. We only need 20,000 votes to win. There are 200,000 of us in this county. Who's been to Philly Cafe on a Friday night? That's half my votes. Hey, the other half are at La Pasha. Well, let's go sit in the bus. So what I'm telling everybody right now is 10 months ago, we launched our campaign. Nobody thought we could get it done. We had no money. We had 1 employee, Alex, and we were working out of my garage. I was driving my wife crazy. We had a 2-month-old baby at home. 10 months later, we have now officially raised $1.5 million. 10 months later, we have knocked on 200,000 doors. 10 months later, मेरे staff में भी 40 लोग हैं. 10 months later, I'm proud to stand before you running the largest Asian Muslim Hindu Arab voter engagement project in the country for Congress. And we're going to show the Israeli lobby, we're going to show AIPAC, we're going to show the big lobbies who are funding my opponent that they are not welcome in Sugarland. Right now, where I stand, we are in position to win. You know, a lot of people here say we need our youth to run. Look at the youth on this stage. We are here. We are asking for your support. Will you show your power in February? Will you show your numbers in February? Yes. And will you get your friends and your family to come out to vote for all of us in the February primary? Yeah! And there's one running for U.S. Congress. You know, before I close, this area where I stand before you is represented by Dr. Suleiman Lalani. It's represented by Mr. Constable Nabil Sheikh. And inshallah, God willing, I'm hoping you and your friends and family can make Muhammad Pervez a reality in Congress. Thank you.
Thank you again to the Pakistan Federation of People for hosting this tour. Again, I would like to tell you just about one of the things that I did accomplish as our sheriff of Fort Bend. I have a regional academy that we built here in Fort Bend County. This regional training facility is something that this area, this Houston metropolitan area, didn't have. We have it now in Fort Bend County. That will bring federal, state, and all local law enforcement agencies here to our county. We're leading that in Fort Bend County. So I'm very proud to say that we have that under my administration. The next thing is, it's very important who you elect as your sheriff. Who can make those collaborations? I'm proud to say I have all the law enforcement's backing and endorsement. The Houston Police Officers Union, the largest police union, endorsed me. the largest law enforcement union, endorsed me. I've been endorsed by them. Harris County Sheriff's Black Officers Union has endorsed me. Also, Thanksgiving officers have endorsed me. These are people that are part of law enforcement, that knows law enforcement, and they all have endorsed me. Usually law enforcement agencies usually endorse Republican candidates. And they did before until 2021 when I ran. My background and my ability I've shown proven leadership. I had a 7-point plan when I ran for office. I kept each and every one of those promises to you. I kept them. And I've even done more to keep Fort Bend County the safest county in the nation. Again, I'm humbly asking for your support to keep me as your Fort Bend County Sheriff. Thank you.
First thing I want to do is apologize to the young lady for not listening to the whole question. Sorry about that. 41 years of law enforcement service and 33 years being part of a command staff gives me the experience that I've cultivated throughout the years. Gives me the knowledge to come here before you and tell you that I can make this county the safest county in Texas. I can do that. I understand being around the world, other cultures. I understand your culture. I wish I knew it better, but I understand your culture. I understand the words when you say Salam Alaikum. I know what that means. Okay? Should have started with that. But I just want you to know, I spent 2 years in Iraq. I built a lot of friendship. I brought 2 of the federal investigators back with me because they were helping us. They were on the list to get killed by the insurgents. I brought them with me. They're public health examiners today in the state of Texas. I ask for your support. Please go with SonnyColumbiaForSheriff.com. Gives you all the information, gives you more than 2 minutes. Okay? I please ask you, go there and look at my background. It tells you my whole story since I was 15 years old. Thank you very much for your time tonight. Salam alaikum.
Hungry? Are y'all hungry? Yes. So I'll make this quick.
In line with your heritage.
I'll make this quick. You've heard from a lot of amazing candidates. You've also heard from myself. Guys, I just want to talk about unity amongst our basic community. Our basic community represents about 44% of Precinct 3. It's about 25% of Fort Bend County. And let me tell you the power of the Desi community. If every single Desi, Pakistani, Indian, Muslim, Hindu, came together in unity and voted together, you would have, just take a look at all of the seats that are available, and you can put a Desi in all of those seats. That is the power that we hold here in Fort Bend. Yes. That I did with State Representative Ron Reynolds. When George Floyd was brutally murdered by the hands of police, State Representative Ron Reynolds and Texas Coalition of Black Democrats and Blue Back of Texas and the NAACP and the League of Women Voters were trying to get police officers to come to the state capitol to come speak. And unfortunately, they could not get anybody. The sheriff was not available at the time, but the sheriff was able to get on a Zoom. And I marched with our state representative, and Wallahi, I promise it looked like the sea parted when we walked through the state capitol. They looked at Representative Ron Reynolds and said, "Holy, they got a cop." All right? And we walked through that hall, and it's probably one of the most memorable things as your constable. And just seeing a crowd of people, a crowd of individuals that were there to try to kill this bill, and for them to just go to the side. And we were able to walk over there and deliver a very powerful message. We weren't able to get everything passed, but we did Van Topol, right? Isn't that good? And that's why investments matter. And I want to end with this. You know, our prophet, peace be upon him, says the parable of the leader is that in the affection of a body, so when one aches, the whole body acts in sickness and fever. So there's a lot of things that are going on around the world, guys. So just please pray for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're Muslim, if you're non-Muslim. Just, you know, please pray for peace and vote for Democrats from the top one way to Zion. Thank you.
Alright, once again, I'm Ibrahim Javed, and I'm one of your candidates to be the next county commissioner in Precinct 3 of Fort Bend County. Precinct 3 is a precinct that looks like many of you in this room, yet our leadership since 1997 has not reflected that. And I'm running to make sure we change that in our upcoming elections. I'm the Chief Operating Officer and co-founding member of Charity Staff, a startup that is working every day to help nonprofits solve the world's toughest problems. Nonprofits oftentimes are making up the gaps and filling in the gaps where local government should be doing its job. And as your next commissioner, I'm committed to making sure that that is no longer the case. I'm running on principles of accountability, innovation, and service. As someone who earned his master's in professional accounting from the University of Texas at Austin, I can ensure that we're spending our money on things that actually matter to people in this room and everyday people in our communities. As someone who's a startup founder, I understand where this economy is going, and I want to capture that innovation and economic development right here in Precinct 3 and in Fort Bend County. When it comes to service, I work with nonprofits every day for a living. And I understand that we need to make sure we have a representative that engages in servant leadership, meaning they help the small business owners wherever they can, meaning they have office hours where the community can actually access them, meaning they educate people with town halls about what is actually going on week over week in their communities. So far, we've knocked on thousands of doors, sent out thousands of pieces of mail, thousands of text messages. We've endorsed by the likes of people like Congressman Al Green, who have helped a lot of us in the Pakistani community, and we've been proud to make sure we're putting in that effort. So far, the only thing that's missing in this campaign is you. So we need your support, and we're counting on you to join our movement at JavedForFB.com. And once again, I'm Ibrahim Javed, going to be your next county commissioner in Precinct 3 of Fort Bend County.
My name is Tharmal Patel, another candidate for Fort Bend County Commissioner, and I want to talk about these hands. These hands have been with you during our most troublesome times, from the hurricanes to the floods, to rescuing people during COVID, and so much more. These hands knocked on doors for Nabila Mansour. These hands knocked on doors for QMO. These hands knocked on doors for Harabed. These hands knocked on doors for Ron Reynolds. These hands knocked on doors for Constable Nabil Shite. These hands have knocked on doors for Sheriff Merrick Fagan. I'm asking you to come together and hold hands with me as we build the first ever Fort Bend County Hospital District to take care and to hold the hands of our senior citizens in Fort Bend County. I'm asking you to hold hands and join hands so we can protect our neighbors from the Brazos River as we all face erosion and flooding. I'm asking all of you business owners here to join hands with me as we make sure we have entrepreneurship programs. I'm asking you to join these hands that helped appoint the first Pakistani American woman to the highest office in Fort Bend County, to join these hands to help make sure that we appointed the first Pakistani American to lead the Fort Bend County Toll Road Authority. These are things we have done together by holding hands. I am from this community. I've been holding hands with many of you and your children for decades. I'm asking you to hold my hands. Type in tharmalpatelth.com into your website and check out what we are all about. And I hope to shake your hands before I leave tonight. Thank you so much, everyone.
If I'm the last person speaking, well, save the best for the last, but between me and you is food, right? So I'll try to make it short. That's good. There's no more people. Two more people? Oh, I'm sorry. Then I'll take. I don't get that. So, you know, we always hear from politicians, it's the most consequential election of our lifetimes. Y'all hear them? In Fort Bend County, Precinct 3, it is, you know, because we deal with our Precinct 3 and with our Fort Bend County on a day-in, day-out basis, right? हमारा कितनी दफा ऐसा होता है कि हम स्टेट लेवल पे डील करें, हालांकि आप प्राउड ऑफ डॉक्टर लालानी, हम प्राउड ऑफ डॉक्टर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव रॉन रेनॉल्ड्स, कितनी दफा हम डील करते हैं कांग्रेस से, फॉरेन पॉलिसी सब कुछ है, ऑब्वियसली वो तमाम चीजें बोलेंगे. मेयर ली ब्राउन जब इलेक्ट हुए थे उस जमाने में से मैं वीडियो कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है, और कुछ चीजें ऐसी हैं जो आपको कम्युनिटी में 20 साल से वेट हो गए. So my public life is already in front of you. Now, in terms of what I'm going to do, I will get the job done in terms of managing the budget, accountability, infrastructure, building upon infrastructure, and emergency management. Those are my key priorities. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure that since this is the most diverse precinct, I know the issues that our communities face, and then I have developed those bridges with other communities as well. So even though there may be some Republicans I know, and they say that we'll vote for you in November, well, I will still earn your respect because you may not be voting for me in the primary, because when I get elected, I'll be everyone's commissioner. So please visit my website. It's our campaign's website. Our campaign slogan is, together with your vote, we will take our precinct 3 to an exemplary level. And I will make all of us proud, Hindu community, Muslim community, Pakistani, Bangladeshi, any community, Sri Lankans, what have you, Bangladeshi community. At the end of the day, it's all about us. It's about our future and about our grandchildren's future. So please visit zishanisaac.com or zishanisaac.com from an Anglo-American perspective and go there, be part of the campaign, and tell your friends and family, because politics is all about trust. I'm counting on you. Thank you so much.
To be really, really brief. You know, politicians can get up here and talk about anything, and they try to tell you everything that they think that you want to hear. But actions speak louder than words. And let me just say this very quickly. When Q Iman was running for treasurer, and he had an African-American Christian, I'm a Christian, running against him, you know who was proud to take the darks to support Q Iman? That was me. I didn't care, because he was the right candidate. I was very, very proud when Dr. Suleiman Lalani, when he ran to become the first Muslim elected state representative, he had an African-American Christian running against him. But you know who was there to push him and fight for him over the time, including in the runoff? Yours truly, Ron Reynolds. So actions speak louder than words. When no one else was willing to sign the letter for the ceasefire, I was there. I'm going to continue to be there and stand with you. So thank you all for being here. And let's give these amazing candidates a big round of applause. We have a great bid, a great personality. Thank you. Go Democrat. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's an honor to conclude. You know me, my name is Shah Halim. I'm running to be the next chairman of the Fort Bend County Democratic Party. That is the CEO of this organization. I have proven to be a good leader for Bangladeshi American community for many, many years. You've seen me working with each of you. I did not stay within my community. I was in your community. I was in Indian community. I worked with the Pakistan Chamber of Commerce, Gogarban. 2013, you had a gala in Marquis, Marriott. I was there supporting you, sponsoring you. Parvez Iqbal, late Parvez Iqbal, passed away. He was the chair. I supported him. Rest his soul in future. I was the champion of the Federation of Bangladesh American Community. I have been trained to lead large organization. I have been trained to show you that I can reach out to all the communities in Fort Bend and work together. Not just Pakistani community, Hindu community, Muslim community, Christian community, Black communities. You've seen me in these cities. Everywhere. They know me. You need a leader that's been known to all communities. You need a leader that's respected by all communities. You need a leader that know how to respect the others. So I have earned by learning, by working with you. You taught me. All of you, I've learned from all of you to be able to reach out and grow that talent I need to be able to lead Democratic Party. That's what you want from a leader who has been able to reach out. Number two, that is the way to unify once you're able to reach out. Number two, I will be able to raise $250,000 for the party in 120 days. You've been through my fundraising, Tahir Javad Bhai. I raised $1 million, which many of you donated to my cause. So I got the experience to raise money. Number three, we're able to identify the right candidates to be able to lead the party. As a chairman, we have to fill many vacant positions in precinct chairs. How are we able to reach out to the communities, across this community, Fort Bend County, find the right people to be able to precinct chairs? Number four, we have to take care of our citizens. We have to worry about his full safety. and our women right to choose, women protected rights, affirmative action, citizens' rights. The LGBTQ community, they're human beings. They're just God creation. We cannot give away all those. So because of that, I'm asking for your support. I'm asking for your blessing to give me a chance to the next 2 years lead this party, and I promise you I'll fulfill all your pledges. Thank you.
Awesome. Let's give a standing ovation. I know we're all excited. They did amazing. Thank you all for doing it. You all did amazing. Thank you again. And we're announcing that general instruction, but I'm not moderating. You guys want to amazing.
Make sure everyone has faith for the next one camera next, and then we'll get ready to start next time.
Everyone, please give us a minute before we're giving our elected and our candidates so much respect. Ladies and gentlemen, please give us 1 more minute of your time. Just quiet down for 1 more minute. I will be probably very soon.
Everybody, clap once if you can hear me. Clap twice if you can hear me.
When I speak, please sit down. This will not be one that have to end us here. Now, I would first of all, when I saw the candidates come on stage, and Sean took off his jacket and rolled up his sleeves, and he went his sleeves rolled up and his jacket onto my knee, and we're there for a spicy discussion. Mixing that. Now, there are 3 groups of people that I want to appreciate and applaud tonight. First of all, the chairman of our advisory board, Dr. Asif Kadir, who I noticed has moved from the distinguished guest table to the candidates table. Let's say something about your future. Okay, I would like to support, I would like to recognize our board members, and they are on the stage already. Wahid Lana, who is the latest addition to our board. All of the guest list of Mr. Siraj Dansi, who is always very busy, and we all know that ladies get things done. The principal individuals who organized this event were Farah Ahmed. Where are you, Farah? Yes. And the other two were Mehnaz Zedi and Hifsin Hamani. There are many distinguished individuals in this room. I think I may miss some of them, but I'd still like to recognize some of them. We have here Hamari Salman Razaki Bhai, the president of PATA. We have here Tahir Javed Saab, who I think everyone in this room knows. My friend Sonia Rash. And Sonia, 2 years ago, we had an event similar to this one, and all the candidates who came, 2 of them won. Sonia Rash won and Dr. Lalani won. And I'm sure some of the individuals here who are running will be elected. Thank you very much, and dinner is served.